What it do? What it do? What's up, y'all? Mind Games Uncut. Pop up live. We here. I'm your host D Mays. We're in the building trying to get through it. I having the I get what broken traditions because he said he got a fan that keeps you cool so you won't be sweating like a slave. What's going on, y'all? Can y'all hear me good? Let me let me see. I'm trying to hit. Let me let people know we here. Let me do like this. Share this live. It's gonna be short. Actually, it's gonna be a little longer than a pop up live. It's gonna be probably half a minute, y'all. We'll get right into it. Blacks versus immigrants versus Black Americans. I'm gonna play this audio. Let me share this to my live real quick so y'all can listen. And this is pretty good. All right. Trying to copy, send this out to people. Just bear with me, y'all. Trying to get everything done early, so hit that like button and all that good stuff. Let me see. I think I sent it to everybody. All right, we're gonna do it like that, y'all. We're gonna what's going on, Kathy B? What it do, y'all? Y'all hit that like button, y'all. Hit that like button. You know what I'm saying? Hit that like button. It try my hair a little shiny, but I'm trying to get used to it. But look, y'all, we're gonna talk about. I talked about this on my TikTok. It was crazy. Last night I had like 4.6 thousand likes in crazy people. I'm gonna do it again too on TikTok. But I wanted to bring it here on YouTube. I know a lot of y'all ain't on TikTok, but my TikTok following is crazy, man. My chat rooms be jumping. If I can get my TikTok, my YouTube podcast like my TikTok, oh yeah, we in the game. You know what I'm saying? But we'll get there. You know what I'm saying? It probably ain't meant to be yet to be on YouTube like that because they really trying to mess with the algorithms and stuff like that. But anyway, we're gonna get right into this. We're gonna get right into this, y'all. Listen, everybody need to listen to this. I found this yesterday. We've been talking about the illegal immigration here in America and how it's hurting the Black Americans, job wise, and all kind of businesses and all that. Let's get into this. This is on the Center for Immigration Studies. That's the YouTube channel. You can go. They got a lot of stuff on immigration reform, but this particular topic is called Question and Answer Session: Impact of U.S. Immigration Policy on Black Americans. So let's get right into it, y'all. Let me cue this up. Make sure we got everything. Oh, here we go. And we'll break it down. Let me know if y'all can hear it. One for yes, two for no if you can hear it. So we're gonna get right into it. Let me see. Let me know if y'all can hear it. Hold on. It's about to get started.
Let's take some Q&A now. Okay. I just want to make clear, Center for Immigration Studies is a nonprofit, non-political group. We don't endorse candidates, although people are free to endorse any party or candidate they want. The center does not get involved in that. And I had a question about politics. But first I want to ask a question that somebody had sent in, and that is that a significant phenomenon that was true 100 years ago, but much more significant now, is Black immigration. In other words, immigration from the Caribbean and from Africa in a very significant way, both legal and illegal. There's significant illegal immigration now, even from Africa. So how does that create, what's the story with that? In other words, what is people's reaction? How do you kind of process that? Because when it was immigrants from Europe, you can sort of see that's what Booker T. Washington was reacting to, Frederick Douglass, A. Philip Randolph. And if it's, illegal aliens from Latin America, again, you can sort of see there's a ethnic difference. But how do you process black immigration.
Well, even Marcus Garvey, who was originally from Jamaica, was against
and was deported back to Jamaica.
Yeah, he was against mass immigration. Yeah, listen, it's about heritage. It's about our lineage. Who are we? We're Black Americans. I can trace my family back, my ancestors back to the 1700s. Okay? So we're Black Americans. We have been here since the founding of the country. That matters.
And her name is Kathleen Wells. She's a executive director of Black American for Immigration Reform. Keep that name. Just keep that name in mind. Kathleen Wells.
Does it not? Does it matter that our parents, our ancestors were here since the founding, since the 1600s, since the 1700s? Is that relevant? Is that significant? Yes, I think it is.
And go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. Look, people who break the law break the law. I don't care if you're orange.
Right.
If you come over here, you come over here illegally, you're still taking a job. Let's keep in mind that you have employers who will preference illegal immigrants over natural citizens, and that is still the case even if their skin is darker than mine. So it's still hurting everyone. And then a lot of the illegal immigrants that come over here and their skin is dark, they don't see themselves as being the same as I am. They don't identify with the Black American experience.
Because they have their culture.
So do y'all agree with what she just said? Hey y'all, I'm telling y'all, share this, replay this, whatever you gotta do. But I'm giving y'all some receipts. This was like 2 weeks ago. Y'all heard nothing about this. This video should have went viral. It only got 22,065 views on it, but it should have went viral. Let's continue.
Because that's completely different. And so that still has a significant impact on the financial stability and ability of individuals who come from that lineage in the American experience, their ability to pull themselves out of the lower rungs of society.
Donna and Kathleen, your comments are very much consistent with comments that are made by Black leaders and Black newspapers 100 years ago. Mm-hmm. Du Bois, at the same time he was making the comment, they said that the cutting off of white labor has been the salvation of Black workers. But at the same time, in that same article, he said, he did kind of say, unfortunately, he sort of had a little race consciousness. He says, unfortunately, that means Blacks from the Caribbean are cut off too. But he goes, he distinguished that was a racial issue, but African Americans are not about race; it's about history. And the key thing was the history was the people whose families came through slavery, and for so the point of these Black leaders and newspapers 100 years ago was that immigration policy should be about helping African Americans, not based on their race, but based on their experience, and it had not their heritage, and it had nothing to do with helping somebody who happened to be Black from some other country. Right. So anyway, that it's just very interesting to hear you talk because it fits so much with basically.
Interesting. They need to stop grouping us with African Americans. Yeah, that's not us. Exactly. We listen, y'all. In the UEOA, we talk about this a lot. We got love for our brothers and sisters, our cousins in the diaspora. But unfortunately, Black people are Black Americans. The origin of man came from Africa. Everybody's from Africa. I'm talking about like origin of man. No, that's not even, we're not even going to put that for debate. But we are born here in America. There's nothing wrong with that, man. Just like we got brothers and sisters born in Brazil, brothers and sisters born in Haiti, Jamaica, and Belize. I mean, that's where they from. You know what I'm saying? The origin of man came from Africa. Yeah, that's where mankind started. But we all over the damn place. You know what I'm saying? And That's what they saying. You get it. They giving resources to immigrants and black immigrants that look like us, and and they're gonna get more deep into it. We probably want to play the whole damn see it. We probably try to play as much as I can because this is a pop-up live. Here we go.
I'm sure that you can find leaders that were more race conscious, but one of the things that I found in some of my recent studies is that the black leaders and editors, they worked so hard to really get away from racial distinctions and idea of race, because that was something that this whole idea of scientific racism had been so harmful to African Americans, and as it turns out, the scientific community eventually got out of that.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, my ancestors didn't slave and sweat and toil and all that hard work that they did for Joanne Reed to have a job. She's the first. She's from the Congo.
Shots fired at Joy Reid. Yeah, Joy Reid's from the Congos. And the white man, even being honest, he even agreeing with them.
They worked for Black Americans to have jobs. They did all that for Black Americans, not people from the Congo who are first-generation Americans. Not even Kamala Harris, who's Indian American and Jamaican.
Listen,
my ancestors didn't work for Kamala Harris to have these benefits. They worked for Black Americans to have benefits. I think even Obama.
A black woman just talked about Kamala Harris. All black women support Kamala Harris, but a black woman just threw some shots and receipts.
It's not even a Black American. This is why using color, the skin color, is not sufficient. It's confusing. And that's why I say white Americans and Black Americans have been in America the longest since its founding. And that is significant. That matters. That history matters. And so this is why, and I don't know why so many, and I want to get into this issue about Black women, Black American women supporting. I know it's nonprofit, but Black American women don't understand most of them. Some do, but most of them don't understand. They think everything is about skin color. And that's a superficial analysis of the situation. They're not looking at the history. They don't know the history. And they're just so wedded to the political left position, embracing all of their policies. And their policies have been detrimental to Black America. They need to get away from that embrace of all these policies that are the detriment. So what I'm thinking, they're not doing their homework. They're not reading this cast your bucket where you are. Cast down your bucket where you are. They're not reading this history. They're being superficial. They're just watching the television and going along with what the politicians say. That is not sufficient.
Hey, the sister I wish I had my bomb to drop a bomb. Finally, we got some Black American women. They're telling the truth. Boy. Oh, my fault.
This raises a point I wanted to bring up, a question basically, and it's really, we've been touching on the issue, but a century ago,
appreciate it,
or more, the top Black leaders in the country were critical in different ways, but critical of immigration. Whether it was Booker T. Washington or Du Bois, who were pretty much diametrically opposed in every way you could imagine. Du Bois ended up as a communist, and Booker T. Washington was a self-help guy who, palled around with Teddy Roosevelt, and then Marcus Garvey, obviously. But they all agreed that large-scale immigration, and back then it was mainly legal, but it was still large-scale immigration was a problem.
They believed their eyes.
Right, exactly. It was sort of, what is it? It's a struggle to see what's in front of your nose or something like that. But there isn't really much of anything like that today, and it's not just among Democratic leaders. Obviously, there are some Black Republicans who are critical of immigration, but even there really isn't the same level. In other words, there's nobody who makes even. Let's just. I'm not picking on him, but Tim Scott's a pretty high.
Goddamn Tim Scott. Now, Tim, you talking about super coon Tim Scott.
Profile, is talked about as potentially vice presidential candidate. Maybe he says something about, well, we need more border control or something, but that's just an easy thing for politicians to say. Why aren't there more Black leaders, prominent people, no insult to anybody here, but I'm talking about the top people in the country who are willing to talk about immigration. The issue is just sitting there on the ground waiting for somebody to pick it up.
Well, the establishment. Can I answer?
No, well, let's go ahead, Donna, and then you.
I'll say this. Unfortunately, most of the Black political leaders that have a platform are actually politicians. Now, I'm from a nonprofit. We don't endorse anyone, but I think that they go along with whatever the prevailing issue that will keep them in their positions. They don't have boots on the ground in the communities, hearing like we do from the people that think this is important. The other thing is, you see prominent community leaders on the local level talking about the destruction of illegal immigrants. What's problematic is they're not given a platform. When you have a mainstream media whose primary concern is making sure narratives are consistent with whatever the agenda is, they're not going to give you that platform. In fact, if you notice, and I don't endorse any candidate one way or the other, if you notice Eric Adams, all of a sudden he's under investigation. And many of the members of his team, because he's gotten out of step with what the narrative needs to be. So, but there are people who want to speak up. I have many of them. We just have to have people who are brave enough to be able to allow their voices to be heard. And so that is the biggest issue. It's the platform, not the people in the community who are saying this, because you go to New York, in the Bronx, you go to New York City, you go to Chicago, you can go to Atlanta. I can tell you that you can go to Detroit, and those people are saying the same thing. We want jobs. We can't get those jobs because we have meat packing plants that will only hire illegal immigrants.
Right. The thing is that, and obviously you're right that, look, politicians are politicians.
Right.
The person you were talking about who was just on Washington.
He said politicians are politicians. He telling you they lie.
Journal, that was Representative Al Green, who's in Houston.
Right.
But one of the, even when there is a political opportunity, my sense is Black politicians still don't take it. And the thing that really drove that home to me was 2006. There was a Senate race in Tennessee. It was an open seat. And Harold Ford Jr., who was congressman from Memphis at the time, and who he was already in the House of Representatives. His voting record on immigration wasn't terrible for a Democrat. It was actually good. Yeah, it was actually good for a Democrat. So the point is, he was open to talking about immigration. He was running against a big business Republican, Bob Corker, who had actually, I think, had some, hired some illegal aliens. So he was vulnerable on that issue. Even then, in the sort of best case scenario, the Black politician in question, Harold Ford Jr., whatever his personal, merits or otherwise, didn't take the opportunity that was sitting on the ground in order to win. In other words, there's more than just being a politician, it seems to me.
Yeah, and I'm gonna cut it short, y'all. We're gonna because it's a little bit longer than I want to be, but go to type this in the chat, Kat. Go to subscribe to Center for Immigration Studies. Hold on. I'm alive. Okay, it's called Check My Connections because I'm talking about immigration. Come on, really? Kat, did I go out? Check my. Anyway, y'all go to Center for Immigration Studies. Center for Immigration Studies. Check it out. You can see the full video interview. It called Question and Answer Session, Impact of U.S. Immigration Policy on Black America. I'm telling y'all, it's so much good information. I got to go on TikTok and do it. But I'm going to let it run because I did it yesterday. But I want to come here and talk about it a little bit on the live. I might even break it, just do a whole live about this thing. But I never heard of this group before, Center for Immigration Studies. And a lot of women work for this group. I'm sure Black men too. They're telling you why it's bad. Appreciate that, Kathy B. They're saying why it's so bad for Blacks when it comes to immigration, man, was they took out the civil rights bills, they passed the bill to bring illegal immigrants in, and they took all our benefits, y'all. I see some of y'all coming up in here. The immigrants took all black people. Listen, if Donald Trump were really smart, but he's not though. That's the thing about this guy. Like, he's not a politician. He could take this immigration thing, twist it until it molded to what he wanted to be, and he can get the black votes easy. He said the right things and stuff in the election for black man. He should focus on that. Damn the other stuff. Focus on immigration, how it affect the black people. You want to get black people away? Well, you still have some loyal fools to Kamala, but you're gonna need a lot of black, especially black men. They coming. Anyway, y'all, that being said, let me get up out of here. I'll holler at y'all in the next one. Peace.